Discover the miraculous stories of Genesis, 7 transforming journeys of faith from Adam to Joseph. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the Lord spoke to his creation in the Garden of Eden. The atmosphere was thick with reverence as Adam and Eve, placed in paradise, bore the sacred responsibility of stewardship over all that flourished there. The magnificent trees, laden with fruit, beckoned, and the rivers flowed with crystal clarity, reflecting the divine. Yet, in a moment of weakness and deception, they chose to listen to the serpent rather than the voice of their Creator. Now, as the dawn approached, golden hues enveloped the lush land, but a shadow loomed over the hearts of the first couple. Their hands clasped tightly together. Fear mingled with the hope that perhaps mercy would prevail. The once joyful breeze now carried the weight of their disobedience, and the divine presence descended upon them. "Where are you?" echoed through the rustling leaves, the first question of reckoning. "Because you have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life." The Lord's voice, firm yet filled with sorrow, reverberated around them, as creatures great and small fell silent. Eve's cheeks glistened with tears, cascading like small rivers, mourning for the ease of Eden lost. The ground beneath their feet seemed to shudder, as if mourning the loss of the guardians of creation. Before their eyes, the serpent that once whispered deceit slithered away, leaving the taste of betrayal lingering on their lips. Adam turned towards Eve. His heart felt heavy, wrestling with guilt. "I had the command," he whispered, the realization grounding him in shame. The weight of their choice pressed down upon them like an unseen chain, dragging them far from the lush greenery that had been their home. Nevertheless, Adam attempted to offer solace as they stood on the precipice of a new reality. "Though we leave this paradise, we are still made in His image and carry His promises within us." Yet uncertainties threatened to crush their fragile hopes. Would they ever feel the presence of God again, or were they eternally lost? As the majestic cherubim appeared, preventing their return, Adam and Eve felt the breach widen between them and their Creator. "We will face this together," Eve spoke, her voice steadier than her trembling heart. "God has placed us in this new beginning. We must trust in His love." Adam looked into her eyes, trying to hold on to the spark of faith amid despair. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God.
Faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. With heavy hearts, they stepped beyond Eden's gates, embracing a barren land entwined with thorns and uncertainty. Yet as they trudged onward, the whispers of the divine faintly echoed through the rustling leaves, infusing their weary spirits with tenuous hope. The road ahead held trials unknown, yet the promise of God's faithfulness loomed in their hearts, igniting a flicker of determination amidst the encroaching shadows. Would they find a way back to divine favor, or would the fracture of their disobedience remain their legacy forever? The journey of redemption awaited, mysteries still to unfold, as they ventured into the uncharted wilderness beyond Eden. As Adam and Eve traversed the unfamiliar terrain, the air grew thick with silence, each step a reminder of the paradise they had lost. The once vibrant colors of Eden now dulled before their eyes. The wilds presented jagged stones and twisted roots, symbols of their forsaken communion with the Creator. The weight of the ground, once rich with the fragrances of blossoms, now felt dry and stark, like the barrenness of their hearts. Days turned into nights as they wandered, eclipsed by the weight of their choices. Their hands, once tenderly nurturing the miracles of creation, now bore rough calluses and the scars of toil. With every sunrise, the toil began anew. "By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread," Adam recalled, the words echoing in his mind. Each harvest was a struggle, echoing the hardships of their new existence. Yet within the childbearing pain destined for Eve lay a divine promise, an echo of the Creator's overarching plan. It was in this wilderness that life would take root once again. Together they labored, learning each other's strengths and vulnerabilities in the face of hardship. In the quiet moments, they whispered prayers, calling upon the name of the Lord, yearning for restoration. As the seasons changed, Eve felt a stirring within her. A profound aching promise filled her spirit. The days of sorrow were mixing with hope, and soon she conceived. Her heart raced with wonder. Was this the answer to their cries for mercy? They named their firstborn Cain, saying, "I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord." Genesis 4:1. But the quiet joy was soon overshadowed by the shadows of doubt. With Cain's birth, an ember of rivalry flickered in the darkness. Eve tended to her son with both love and fears unasked. Each coo and cry whispered tales of what was to come. Adam, too, wrestled with expectations. How could he teach his son the lessons of obedience when he himself had stumbled? From the depths of their hearts, they cried out to God, their voices echoing against the vast expanse of the new world. A faint light began to break through the clouds of despair. They witnessed the wonder of life just as God had intended. Yet, in the midst of this joy, arrived the specter of pain once more when Abel was born. Eve adored him, but new tensions loomed in their home. As Cain and Abel grew, differences and comparisons painted a stark picture upon the canvas of their lives. Abel became a shepherd, his heart drawn to the flocks under the watchful eye of the Almighty. Cain, a tiller of the ground, sought to bestow his offerings to God. In the simplicity of their professions, a struggle for favor arose. The Lord, ever faithful, sought to advise Cain, "If you do well, will you not be accepted?" Genesis 4, verse 7. As days passed, the temptation to jealousy intertwined with Cain's thoughts. The serpent's whisper from long ago mirrored Cain's discontent, tugging him towards darkness. The stakes were growing higher, and the sorrow of the garden seemed to flourish anew. But all the while, Eve recalled the promise whispered to her heart, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring." Genesis 3, verse 15. Hope was indelibly woven into the fabric of her being, tempting her to believe that even these moments could lead to restoration. The path ahead was fraught with trials, yet she could not shake the surging conviction that this lineage, torn by sin and shrouded in longing, was part of a greater tapestry. What divine revelation awaited them? Would they witness the unfolding of redemption in the lives of their children? The answer lingered in the air, pregnant with possibility, as Cain's heart grew ever darker. Unbeknownst to them, a seed of salvation was silently germinating amidst their turmoil. Like a whisper carried on the breath of the wind, the promise persisted, ready to reveal how God's sovereign plan would emerge from the chaos of a broken world. And it came to pass, in the days of their toil, that Cain brought forth an offering of the fruits of the ground unto the Lord. And Abel, too, offered the best of his flock, the firstborn and their fat portions. But the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. Genesis 4, verse 3-5. The displeasure of the Lord settled upon Cain like a weight upon his shoulders. His countenance fell, and despair burrowed into his heart. Yet in his anguish, the voice of the Lord broke through the silence. "Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Its desire is for you, but you should rule over it." Genesis 4, verses 6-7. Despite the divine warning, darkness fed upon Cain's heart like a ravenous beast. The echo of Abel's favor seemed to thunder in his ears as the serpent's whisper, silent yet persistent, urged him onward to betrayal. "Am I my brother's keeper?" Cain muttered under his "Hush! as if the very question could shield him from the wickedness stirring within. One fateful day, as they roamed the fields together, Cain's thoughts turned to malice. In a rage that had festered beyond reason, he called to Abel in pretense of brotherly communion, luring him to the place where shadows clothed their intent. There, in the solitude of the land, Cain rose against Abel, and the ground drank deeply of innocent blood. As Abel fell, the heavens paused in mourning. The Lord called to Cain from the darkness, "Where is your brother Abel?" With trembling words, Cain responded, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Genesis 4:9. The voice of judgment arose, heavy with sorrow. "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Genesis 4:10. In that moment, the earth, stained with guilt, testified against him. The sentence of his sin severed ties with both heaven and earth. "You are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood." Genesis 4:11. Cain was then marked, a restless wanderer, a shadow of what once was, bearing the weight of his transgression. Yet, even in that moment of utter condemnation, the mercy of the Lord did not abandon him. "Whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold," the Lord declared, bestowing upon him a protective mark that his life might be spared. Though he was cast out, he would not be alone in his exile. Cain departed from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden, forever marked, yet seeking to build a legacy of his own. In time, he knew the making of cities, and Lamech, his descendant, became the first poet warlord, proclaiming a twisted legacy of vengeance. Eve, in her sorrow, bore another son named Seth, for she said, "For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel, whom Cain killed." Genesis 4:25. In him lay the beginning of a new hope, a lineage bearing the promise that death would not reign unchecked. Thus, the Lord's purpose wove through sorrow and despair, clinging to the hearts of those who would believe in his divine thread of grace. Unbeknownst to them, the story of redemption was unfolding through each generation, a lineage that would bear witness to the ultimate sacrifice destined to confront the shadows of sin. What lay ahead, beyond the toil and tears, within the heart of a shared promise? The path of sacrificial love and grace beckoned, casting loyalty and the prospect of redemption into the very fabric of their being. The question lingered, as yet more divine mysteries awaited revelation amid humanity's restless strife. And it came to pass, in the days of Seth's lineage, that the earth began to populate with children of men, and the hearts of many turned towards the way of wickedness. In those days, men multiplied and found favor in their own eyes, yet the Lord looked upon the earth and saw the great corruption that had spread among them. Seth walked in the ways of his father, calling upon the name of the Lord, and his sons were faithful, nurtured under the shadow of their forefather Adam, who had known the glory of Eden. "For in him," said Seth, "the promise of the Lord is renewed." The faithful ones gathered often, speaking of the Creator, of his goodness, and the honor of true worship. Yet amidst the faithfulness, discontent grew among those who wandered in darkness. Cain's descendants, inheriting the mark of their forebear, sought glory through their own means, crafting cities and wielding power through misguided strength. Lamech, the son of Cain, boasted songs of blood and vengeance, enthralling many with his words. "For I have slain a man for wounding me, even a young man for my hurt," he sang defiantly, promoting a legacy of retribution that echoed into the hearts of many. As the hearts of men grew cold, the Lord's heart was troubled, for he had created them in his image. The cries of the innocent, burdened by the weight of sin, ascended to heaven like a bitter smoke, piercing through the veil of his patience. "My spirit shall not strive with man forever," the Lord declared in his sorrow, for he saw how every intent of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. Genesis 6:3. Then the Lord resolved to cleanse the earth, for he found a remnant in Noah, a righteous man, perfect in his generation. Noah walked with God, his spirit whispered, and in him the promise of redemption was nourished. The Lord spoke to Noah, instructing him to build an ark, for a flood of judgment was to come upon the earth. "Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood," the Lord instructed, offering Noah a vision of salvation through obedience. In the torment of judgment lay a divine invitation, an opportunity for faith amidst impending destruction. As Noah labored faithfully, he became a preacher of righteousness, urging the people to turn from their wickedness and embrace the mercy that was offered. Ridicule and scorn fell upon him like stones, yet he did not falter. For deep within him thrummed a heartbeat of promise, a tether to the future that awaited beyond the storm. As the heavens gathered clouds dark and foreboding, the floodgates of heaven were opened and the deep burst forth, unleashing the waters upon a world steeped in sin. The heart of creation trembled, for judgment came. Yet within the ark, hope floated, secured by the righteousness of one chosen to lead generations beyond the cleansing tide. In that pivotal moment, when the earth lay drowned beneath the weight of God's decision, the redemptive thread spun tighter still. Unknown to the people, the promise of a new covenant was being woven even in the depths of despair, one that would restore what had been lost and reveal a future filled.
What revelation would emerge from the waters of judgment? How would the world be transformed through the faithfulness of one man? And what legacy of hope would arise from the depths of such divine silence? God's plan, unfurling in the shadows, beckoned forth a deeper understanding of his unyielding purpose for mankind. And it came to pass, as the waters surged upon the earth, enveloping the land in a merciful yet terrible baptism, that Noah found himself beleaguered within the wooden vessel. The thunder rumbled above, shaking the very foundations of the deep, while the cries of creation echoed against the tempest. Yet inside the ark there was an unfamiliar stillness, a solemn peace amidst the chaos. Noah, righteous one, clasped his hands in prayer, lifting his voice to the heavens. "O Lord, you are my refuge and my strength. In you alone I trust." 40 days and nights the rain poured, and the earth became a vast ocean. The mountains were swallowed, and the very tops of the hills were hidden beneath the waves. Above the uproar of nature, the Lord's purpose prevailed, a divine orchestration that would sweep away the stain of wickedness in which mankind delved so deeply. The faithfulness of Noah stood like a beacon, shining brightly against the encroaching darkness. As the flood continued to lay waste to the lands, the Spirit of the Lord insisted upon Noah. "Contain your hearts and do not despair, for a covenant shall arise from your obedience. A new beginning awaits beyond this deluge." Day and night Noah cared for the animals, a living testament of God's grace, for in his righteous stewardship lay the seeds of hope. Then, when the appointed time had elapsed and the waters began to recede, the ark found rest upon the mountains of Ararat. As the sun arose, bathing the earth in light after shadows of judgment, Noah opened the window of the ark and sent forth a raven. The black bird flew to and fro, but it did not return, for it found no resting place. Next, Noah released a dove, seeking a sign of life among the desolation. She returned, her beak carrying an olive leaf, a symbol of peace and renewed promise. Genesis 8:11. With this sign, Noah's heart surged with hope as he understood that the Lord's covenant was re-establishing itself.
the very creation somehow reborn from the darkness of despair. After many days, the command came, "Go forth from the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives." And as Noah stepped upon the dry ground, the fragrance of earth was sweet in his nostrils, a reminder of the goodness of the Creator. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. He took of every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma, saying in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination
of man's heart is evil from his youth." Genesis 8:21. Thus, a covenant was established, as the Lord set a rainbow in the cloud as a sign of his everlasting promise. Never again would he destroy the earth with water. The skies glowed with vibrant hues, a testament to hope, a reminder of grace. For even in the face of judgment, God's mercy breathes life anew. Yet, in the echoes of this promise resounded a deeper mystery. What would become of the generations that would rise from Noah? For as the earth was replenished with life, a new narrative began to unfold, one that would lace the heart of man with both divine purpose and human frailty. What future awaited these descendants? And how would the legacy of Noah intertwine with God's redemptive plan? The sovereign brush of the Almighty was at work, preparing to reveal the greater tapestry of salvation that would stretch beyond the horizon, whispering of destinies yet untold. And it came to pass, as the earth breathed anew, that Noah, a solitary figure on the mountaintop, looked out upon the vastness of the land that lay before him. Fresh and vibrant, the world was alive again, yet its silence echoed with the weight of loss. He gathered his family, and they marveled at the sights that met their eyes, untainted skies and flourishing greenery all around. In this moment, they felt the promise of God settled deep in their souls. "Come," Noah said, his voice a beacon of hope. "Let us worship the Lord, for his mercies endure forever." They gathered in a circle upon the firm ground, hands clasped together, hearts intertwined in gratitude. Each voice rose to heaven, a melody of praise, proclaiming the goodness of their God who had spared their lives. Yet, as the days of peace unfolded, Noah pondered the weight of the future. God had saved them, but humankind, preserved in him, was still fraught with the same depths of corruption. The Lord had spoken, "The imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth," and the words were played within Noah's heart. Genesis 8:21. What would be the fate of his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, as they walked the path of a renewed earth? After the offering, God spoke once more to Noah, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." Genesis 9:1. There was a call to action within God's command, a directive that transformed destiny. As Noah looked upon his sons, he understood that the weight of this promise was now laid upon their shoulders. Each would carry forth a seed of hope or despair into the generations that would follow. Shem, the eldest, with wisdom in his eyes, gathered his father and brothers. "Let us establish a city, a place of unity and worship, where we might keep the teachings of the Lord alive." "I," said Ham, a spark of zeal igniting his spirit, "and from this city our descendants will remember the beauty of creation
and the strength of our covenant with God." But Japheth, ever the curious one, gazed towards the horizon, pondering what lay beyond. Yet, what lies beyond our borders? Should we not explore? Could the earth not open before us as it once closed? Noah considered these words deeply. The spirit within them was one of adventure, yet the caution of his heart urged him to reflect. We are called to be stewards of this land. Let us tread carefully, for the shadows of our past linger where sin once reigned. Let our first act of renewal be to honor God, to speak of his wonders. And so, in the months that followed, the family cultivated the land, planting seeds that symbolized rebirth. every sprout a testament to the divine promise. Yet in their toil, they often whispered about the world yet to come, the cities yet to build. As the sun set upon these early days, Noah felt the gentle nudging of God's Spirit upon him. He gathered his sons and said, "Take heed, my children, for the Lord has great things in store. Out of us shall arise nations and languages, a multitude that will fill the earth, the hearts of men woven together by the fingerprints of the Almighty. But within each heart lies a choice," he cautioned, "a choice that bears gravity in the eyes of heaven." Little did they know, their journey was but the prelude to a greater story unfurling. Their future paths would entangle with grace and tragedy, each decision echoing through the annals of time. They were the bearers of a legacy much larger than themselves, and with each step they took, the mysterious tapestry of God's plan began to weave anew. And as Noah looked into the vastness, he felt a stirring, a divine assurance. The whispers of destiny were upon him, for the time was approaching when the covenant would echo beyond rainbows and olive leaves. God's purpose was poised to unfold in ways unseen, revealing the sovereign's hand in all that was yet to come. And so it was in those days of planting and promise, as the sun rose anew each morn, that a profound yearning consumed Noah's heart. He wandered through the garden they had sown, contemplating the vastness of God's creation and the responsibility that rested upon his family. Each seed they had planted was a flicker of hope, yet Noah felt the shadow of uncertainty creeping near. One day, as Noah sat beneath a great oak, he lifted his eyes towards the heavens, praying earnestly for wisdom. His heart echoed with the Creator's words, a constant reminder of the fragile nature of humanity. In that sacred moment, the wind rustled the leaves, and he perceived the divine presence drawing near. "Behold, Noah," came a voice that resonated like the gentle hum of creation itself. "The journey you embrace is fraught with choices, yet I guide those who seek my face. The heart of man may falter, but I have planted within you my covenant, an enduring promise to a world reborn." Noah shivered, both in reverence and fear. "Lord, the heart of man is indeed filled with wickedness. How shall they remember your ways? How shall they return to you? Fear not, for you shall be a father not only to your sons, but to nations that will arise from your lineage. A great wind will stir the hearts of men. They shall build cities, and I shall scatter them to the ends of the earth. It is through struggle they will learn of grace." Noah closed his eyes, absorbing this profound revelation. The thought of nations and cities awakened something deep within him, for he imagined the multitude of voices that would call upon the name of the Lord. His heart surged with a longing for righteousness in the ages to come, and it was as if the earth beneath him trembled with anticipation. Days turned into weeks. The harvest was bountiful, yet the hearts of his sons began to take different paths. Shem, the wise son, remained resolute in his desire to establish the city of his dreams, a sanctuary for worship. Ham, with his fiery spirit, spoke boldly of strength and remembrance, but his enthusiasm echoed loudly with ambition. Meanwhile, Japheth's adventurous spirit led him further afield, exploring the territories that lay beyond their meager boundaries. The spirit of division threatened the unity of their family, and Noah, sensing the tension, called them together under the sun-kissed sky. "My children," he said, his voice steady yet weary, "the hand of God has upheld our lives and entrusted us with his mission. We stand at a crossroads. Let us not forget from whence we came, nor the covenant we bear." "Aye, Father," Ham exclaimed, his voice strong, yet a trace of doubt lingered in his tone. "Shall we not embrace opportunity? Shall we remain still while the world beckons?" "Indeed," Japheth added, excitement burning in his eyes, To explore is to embrace the fullness of life. We cannot just cultivate, we must discover. Shem, sensing the weight of their choices, challenged them gently. Brothers, we must hold firm to our foundation. Discovery must be anchored in the truth of the one who saved us. If we venture forth, let us do so in reverence. As they debated, the heavens seemed to listen, the clouds darkening as if signaling a coming storm. Noah felt the pulse of divine urgency. Destiny hung heavy in the air. Your hearts indeed call for adventure. Let it not lead to division. Seek the Lord in all your ways, and He shall direct your paths. In the silence that followed, a looming tension was palpable. They stood at the precipice of a new era, unaware that God's sovereign plan would soon unfold, with both glory and trial intertwined. Little did they know, their choices and the quest for fulfillment would call forth not only unity, but also the yearning for power, leading to the very beginnings of Babel. Thus, as evening descended, Noah looked upon his sons with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The time was drawing nigh where the choices laid before them would mark the beginning of the prophecy that only God could fulfill. How these paths would converge toward a sacred promise remained a mystery, a revelation waiting to be unveiled in ages to come. Then came the dawn of a new day, and with it a renewed sense of urgency prevailed in Noah's heart. As he sat once more beneath the ancient oak, he reflected upon the blessings of God, yet felt the weight of tomorrow's promise heavy upon his soul. The earth lay still, yet the tumult within his family echoed louder than the morning breeze. Noah arose and summoned his sons once again, gathering them close as the sun cast a golden hue across the land. "Hear me, my sons," he said, his voice trembling with the gravity of what was to unfold. "Our walk with God is not merely for our benefit. It is for future generations, that they may know His ways and walk in His light." Shem, ever the seeker of truth, stepped forth. "Father, what do you see ahead? Are we to linger in this place of plenty, or must we venture forth to seek the Lord's calling for our lives?" Noah's heart ached. The path ahead is obscured, yet we must not forget the covenant we bear. The Lord spoke of dividing the nations, scattering them, and their hearts will surely seek both Him and their own desires. The spirit of unity among us is a needful thing. Ham, fiery and impetuous, clenched his fists. "How shall we be like those of a bygone age? Are we to hide from the opportunities before us? Is our legacy to be rooted in the earth alone?" His voice crescendoed, fervent in his will. "No!" exclaimed Japheth, with both spirit and resolve. "We are called to venture and explore, yes, but let us recall, brother, that ambition apart from reverence bears the cost of our very souls." Noah felt the tensions rise, a storm of their hearts brewing as he watched his sons grapple with their ambitions and dreams. "Yet remember, my beloved sons," he implored, "the world will soon seek to build mighty towers to reach the heavens, to dethrone the very essence of humility before God." Days turned into nights, and the discourse of his sons did not soften, rather it burgeoned with fervor. They debated plans for a city and the key to its greatness. In his secluded heart, Noah wondered, "What must I do to lead them back to His ways? How shall they rise above the ambitions of a world so fraught with division?" Then, one night, as Noah sought the face of God in his tent, the winds howled like a prophetic whisper, filling his soul with foreboding yet sacred insight. "Awaken, Noah!" cried the voice of the Almighty.
Within him, "There shall come a time when the hearts of men seek to unite, yet their ambition will lead to disarray. For they shall say, 'Let us build for ourselves a name,' but I shall scatter them, and their tongues shall be confused." Noah fell prostrate, his heart aflame with understanding. "O my God, give me strength.
Show me how to steer them toward the truth of your covenant." The next morning, with a heart brimming with divine resolve, Noah gathered them once more. "My sons, we stand at a juncture not just of decisions for ourselves, but for the legacy we will forge in the hearts of those yet unborn. The path towards the city of men is not without peril, for unity outside the will of God leads to pride." Shem listened intently, his faith fortifying against uncertainty. "Let us remember this truth, Father, for even in the Tower of Babel they sought to ascend without you." With heavy hearts but hopeful spirits, they returned to their tasks, yet the air was thick with unspoken desires and plans for greatness. As they toiled, the words of Noah echoed deeply in each of their minds. Thus it was that they labored under heaven's watchful gaze, unaware that their yearning would ultimately lead them to the very beginnings of a tower reaching toward the sky. Divided by ambition and united in only the echo of their father's counsel, a profound mystery lingered in the waiting. How would God weave their stories into the tapestry of his sovereign plan? As days faded into weeks, the echoes of ambition within Noah's household grew louder, woven into the fabric of daily toil. The soil was rich, yielding crops of plenty that nourished their bodies, but it was the spirit that yearned for greater sustenance. Noah observed his sons, each pursuing their dreams, yet the tether of divine guidance appeared as a fleeting shadow amidst their plans. One early morning, as the sun broke upon the horizon and painted the world anew, Noah arose and beckoned his sons to gather. The serene brightness of the new day was juxtaposed by a heaviness in the air. "My sons," he began, his voice steady yet tinged with concern, "the Lord has revealed to me that our hearts must not seek to elevate ourselves, lest we fall into the snares of pride." Ham, unable to restrain his fervor, interjected, "But Father, is it not by our hand that we build something great? The earth is ours, a gift from God. Why should we not be mighty?" His spirit shone bright, yet behind his words lay the hidden darkness of self-sufficiency. Noah's heart broke for Ham, who meant well, yet was blind to the greater truth. True greatness lies not in the height of towers, my son, but in the depth of our obedience to God. The Lord has promised to establish a lineage through us, but it will be by humility and reverence, not by ours own exaltation. Shem spoke next, his voice filled with understanding. "Father, what then must we do? How do we honor the Lord while pursuing our desires?" The question hung in the air, a crossroads leading toward the divine or the destructive. Japheth, contemplative yet courageous, added, "Perhaps we could seek to build a gathering place, not a tower to reach the heavens, but a refuge for those seeking him. A place steeped in worship and community, where the hearts of men turn in reverence rather than rebellion." This idea resonated deep within Noah, igniting a glimmer of hope. Yes, my sons, a place of worship. If we build it to glorify God, not ourselves, then surely it will stand as a testament to his faithfulness. Additionally, such a gathering may draw others to the truth of his ways. As they worked together on this new vision, the air grew thick with anticipation, yet a quiet whisper of discontent still tugged at each heart. At nightfall, while the stars twinkled over the quiet land, Noah bowed in prayer, seeking direction for his sons and their new endeavor. The heavens opened, and in that moment, the voice of the Almighty spoke once more. "Your plans are known to me, Noah," the Holy One proclaimed. "Yet be warned, in the days to come, the hearts of men shall seek their glory, and the intentions of this gathering may waver. Remind them always to seek my face, for unity without divine purpose leads to the very chaos you fear." Noah was shaken, understanding the weight of these words. "Lord, strengthen me. Give me courage to guide them through the trials ahead." The heavens quieted, yet the divine presence lingered, enveloping him with an unexpected peace. Returning to his sons on the morrow, Noah shared the Lord's wisdom, urging them to remain steadfast in purpose. May our ambitions be anchored in our reverence for him, lest we become a people bound by confusion. As the weeks turned into months, with hands calloused from labor and hearts swelling with divine hope, their crude structure rose into form. Yet the shadow of a greater conflict loomed, a temptation to exalt their unity over the call of reverence. What destiny awaited in their midst, and how would their choices ripple through generations yet to come? In the hearts of men, ambition lurked. What would be birthed from their unity in a world longing for divine illumination? The mystery lay heavy in the air as they continued to construct their gathering, unknowingly stepping into a divine prophecy yet to unfold. In time, the monumental tower soared beyond their reach, a testament not to the glory of God, but to the ambition of man. As the bricks of pride were stacked high upon one another, the hearts of Noah's sons drifted further from the covenant promises that had once united them in reverence. They sought to establish their name, declaring, "Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over the face
of the whole earth." Genesis 11:4. In their desire for unity, they had strayed into an abyss of self-sufficiency. In the heavens, the Lord looked down upon the city, witnessing the proud ambition of humankind, and heard the clamor of voices, unified in their rebellion. He saw how the children of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, whose hearts had once resonated with the sacred purposes of their lineage, were now entwined with the spirit of defiance that echoed through the generations. "Let us go down," the Lord said, his voice heavy with love yet underscored with justice. In that decisive moment, he scattered their tongues, spurning their unity and scattering them as dust upon the wind. Confusion engulfed the workers, their plans brought to naught as the singular language gave way to a cacophony of voices. A shroud of misunderstanding stood between them, and in fear and disarray they fled, abandoning the ambitions that led them so far from the heart of their Creator. Noah, awash in sorrow, saw his sons depart, realizing the folly that had consumed their hearts. Yet in the depths of mourning, he recalled the promise that had been bestowed upon them. Though the weights of rebellion bear heavily upon humanity, the hand of God remains steadfast to redeem, Noah whispered to himself as he carved a fresh resolve from the fragments of despair. As the dust of Babel settled, God's voice reached Noah, for he was still with his chosen ones, even amid chaos. "Fear not, for I remain its shepherd," the Lord assured him. "Even in this my purpose shall prevail." With renewed spirit, Noah sought his sons, gathering them around a new altar dedicated to the remembrance of God's covenant. Let us turn back to him, for his grace still abounds. He has set his mark upon us, it shall not falter. With this, he instructed them in the ways of righteousness, a legacy not of bricks and mortar, but of faith and devotion. The days turned into weeks, and from this collective return, a flame of hope flickered anew. Shem, always the keeper of truth, began to share the stories of the past with his brothers, recounting the promises made to their forefather. Ham's heart softened, and he learned to reconcile his ambition with reverence, as he sought to cultivate not just the land, but the spirits of those around him. Japheth, ever curious, began to explore not only the physical world, but the spiritual paths leading back to their divine heritage. As the generations grew, the story of Babel became a cautionary tale woven into the fabric of their identity. The whispers of compromise served as a reminder of the Lord's aid through those who seek him. From the ashes of pride arose a commitment to the covenant, a new beginning rooted in faith. Over time, God's sovereign plan took root amidst the firmament of the earth, birthing nations, each unique and rich in the tapestry he intended. For even in scattering, there lay the seeds of unity, not in the rebellion against God, but rather through the acceptance of his divine order.
His grace washed anew upon every tongue and tribe, and they learned to dance to the rhythm of His love. Across the ages, the promise reiterated itself, echoing through the hearts of the faithful. I will establish my covenant with my people, to be their God, and they shall be my people. From the tumult of Babel, a chorus of nations sang a hymn of hope. Though paths may diverge, God remained the ultimate North Star, guiding creation toward harmony with its Creator. Thus, as the legacy of Noah and his sons unfolded among the nations, joy intertwined with sorrow, a testimony to the deep currents of redemption at work in the hearts of all. And from those simple stones of a tower, the Lord would build a dwelling place for His people, initiating a divine narrative that would herald the coming of hope, the Messiah who would bridge every divide. As you reflect upon this extraordinary journey, I invite you to engage with God's Word actively. You need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's chosen narratives. Leave a like now to help spread God's Word through the algorithm, allowing His truth to reach more souls in need of divine wisdom. Share your thoughts in the comments. How did the stories of faith in this biblical account impact your own journey with Christ? This is the moment to help spread biblical truth and inspire others to seek Him. Don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who need to hear our God's truth. Together, let's illuminate the world with the hope that is found in Him.